Hello there. This is Alcon Recon, and I wish each and every one of you a happy new year. Let's hope that for the various sporting events that bring across the world, we enjoy every one of them. Tonight, we must discuss about the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association mere existence for the coming year. I think most of the people across the world would have recognized or realized that the TTFA had been suspended by FIFA for a number of reasons, many of which are still unheard of. But at the same time, for the past 3 years, there's been no official club football in Trinidad and Tobago. That is a tremendous disaster for a small country that had done relatively well in World Cup competition. There was a trip to Germany, and there were under 20s in Korea and different things like this. In Egypt, the under 17s. Now, this is a country that is participating in sport without the clubs, because if the TTFA had listened, and they have to listen to the FIFA, they had to close the game down for the clubs. Now they're trying to recover it. We're talking about 3 years now. And a committee was given the responsibility by FIFA to try and correct the problems that existed. It's 3 years, and nothing has been corrected in the form that I'm sure that FIFA wanted to do. However, how do they do it? How will they want to use it? They're asking that questions across the media. And it seems to me that they believe that the approach which they are using is that they're going to find 6 or 7 people to come together in a committee and decide to reorganize the Football Association. I humbly agree not to do it, simply because of the fact that the history of Trinidad and Tobago Football Association has been tremendously powerful in terms of a small country. We've been able to divide the country up into different zonal areas. The clubs were tremendous. They were rated very highly in terms of their competence, whether it's be financing, whether it's be organization, and whether it is preparing their teams for competition. And it's simply by the fact that the inter-zonal competition brings together the national team. It's a wonderful type of process that Trinidad and Tobago had in it. Now, they are not doing it the way they want to do it. They want to do it in their way. And there is a constitution. I happen to have been on that constitution when it was done way back in 1967. And this is breaking the institution of what transpires in that constitution. They are not doing that. They're just asking teams to reapply. Why are they reapplying when they were already attached? They didn't do anything wrong. Nobody took them to task for anything that they must be suspended or anything. And the FIFA is not in the position to do that. The zones have been there, the East Zone, the North Zone, the Central Zone, the Tobago Zone. This is important to Trinidad and Tobago's football. They've played a number of national team matches in the last year and a half and 2 years with no club participating. The players are playing from all over the place. They're playing. Some of them are abroad and they're coming in. But there's no club. There's no organized club approach, which is normally the right thing to do for Trinidad and Tobago. It was not done. Now they've reached this stage, and there is a cross-talking with the social media, I suppose, and a lot of people who are not accepting the fact that the zonal clubs will go back to them unchallenged. Why is that so? They haven't done anything that's wrong. They were properly run in the North Zone, the Central Zone, the South Zone, the East Zone, Tobago. It was wonderful. And it is with an interleague participation where the national program is chosen, the national teams are chosen from that, and they've had some good results. So I'm suggesting to them they go that way. They cannot afford the luxury of not using the zonals. They're asking to, they have got to re-enter again. What is the reason for that? They already have been entered into the different zones. And I'm hoping that this goes a little bit longer. I would think that the Ministry of Sport or the sports company will have to take a look at this, simply because of the why are they penalizing the clubs from the various zones? It is definitely not easy to understand. I've been around for a while. I've been in the TTFA management committee, and there's nothing like that that had transpired before. And I don't see why it should now. As a matter of fact, they've got to look around and immediately reorganize the zones. If they don't do it, we'd be here for another 2 years. At this point in time, it's 3 years that the TTFA has not had club activity. I am hoping that they do what they're supposed to do. These clubs are the one that appoint the management committee, representatives from these clubs. They can't pick it up from 6 or 7 people and put it in place. That's not relevant. It's not correct either. So I'm hoping that the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe the Caribbean countries, they can look into it and try to guide us as to the right thing to do. They must not do things that they want to do. This is not a directive from FIFA. FIFA has asked them to correct it. And to correct the problems that existed has nothing to do with the clubs. So here I am being very, very disappointed. I've been in this game for a long time. I've had on the management committee. I've been the technical director. I've been the national coach, and of course a former player. And I have recognized and realized the enjoyment of my career with so many others. And they're around and they're disappointed. I would like some discussion on this from the FIFA again. But I would prefer that the Ministry of Sport in Trinidad and Tobago take a hold of that situation. Their authority can do it. And go to the Constitution and just redo it and start it and let it go. The people who would have been chosen, they're not attached to football. Some of them are business people, others I don't know what. But at the same time, it is hurting the game of football in Trinidad and Tobago. The schools have been shattered with all sorts of types of competition, which in truth and fact did not bear the success that everyone expected. So I'd leave it alone for another 2 or 3 weeks and I'll be back with it, because I have ideas in mind that I believe that are very workable. But the committee that's put here, they are not listening. They're doing things their way, and their way is going no way. Would somebody come by from the Ministry of Sport or the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago? I think that's essential. Otherwise, the standard of football, which had been over the years, the 60s, 70s, 80s for that matter, this has been distorted simply because of some difficult situations which were found out by the FIFA from Trinidad and Tobago. They've stopped it. And in that matter, they have not come back into it to insist and ensure that Trinidad and Tobago Football Association is back into its club status and going. Let's give it a time, and I'll be back as well because I'm certainly looking forward to it, to be able to enjoy the beauty of football, competitive football all across the country, and bringing national teams to strength from those guys and look at our results in the Caribbean and maybe sometimes even in the CONCACAF. I look forward to the decisions made by this committee, and if nothing goes by, I'm looking forward to the Ministry of Sport and the sports company.